feeling like I'm academics. Can't ride away.
All right, let's run through this Durk shit real quick. So the Durk second superseding indictment is here. We don't actually have a copy of it. We'll probably get a copy of it in the morning. However, Durk's team did file what they call they say this is an unopposed request. So it looked like they had, some type of ex parte meeting, right? And by the way, I think it was even said in the docket notes, there was an ex parte meeting. And an ex parte meeting, if you don't know, in court means there's a meeting without the third party. And there's three parties in court. There's the party of the judge, the neutral arbiter. There is the defendant, and then there is the plaintiff, or in criminal cases, the plaintiff is the DA, or in federal cases, actually, it's the AUSA, okay? Which they assist the U.S. attorney who files these from their offices in the districts, whatever. Anyway, the point is this. It looks like Durk and his team, or his lawyers, talked to the government, who said, hey, we're giving you a superseding indictment. So you trying to get the last indictment thrown out, our new superseding indictment, we're going to give you a copy of it before we present it in court. And we actually took out, which they did, they removed all mention of lyrics, and they're now, by the way, no, I think the superseding indictment is out. I posted part. All right. So this was filed, and it says no. What? Did I email the wrong thing? I did. I must have. Hold on, give me 1 second. Yeah, I did email the wrong thing. I'm an idiot. Yeah, I'm an idiot. All right, just give me 1 more second and I'll be able to fetch it. Takes forever for this fucking email to come through. Okay. Here we go. All right. So let me just explain what happened in court. What didn't really happen in court? So this is the AUSA, or the U.S. attorney, actually, which, by the way, the last U.S. attorney, never mind, that's in a Diddy case. I'm tripping. So this is the U.S. attorney right here, Bilal, and then his assistant attorneys, AUSAs, are these people. And essentially what they said, there's a supplement to the government's opposition to the defendant's application for reconsideration of bail. So essentially what they say, and it comes to this page, on May 1st, 2025, right, which is yesterday, the grand jury returned a second superseding indictment, charging the defendant Banks and his co-conspirators with crimes arising from the August 22 murder of Quando Rondo's friend, Lil Pop, including an additional charge of stalking resulting in death in violation of this statute. Defendant Banks has presented a false narrative that he has been prosecuted and detained because of his violent lyrics. This claim is and always been baseless. The superseding superseding indictment 1 contains no allegations about the defendant's lyrics. Instead, just like every iteration of the indictment before it, the superseding indictment 1 contains significant allegations that show the defendant's alleged role in the execution-style murder of Taekwon Bowman, which is Quando Rondo's friend, Lil Pop, on a busy street corner in Los Angeles. These allegations and other evidence in the court considered during the defendant's blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool. So essentially, they said that we got a new superseding indictment. Now, we get more information about the superseding indictment here. This is from Durk's team. And Durk's team says, hey, they had this ex parte meeting, right, where the government served them with this superseding indictment, and they said, okay, cool, we're going to need some time to kind of process this. And they agreed in an ex parte communication, because usually one side says one thing, the other side says another thing, and the judge has to rule who they're going to go in favor for or what the ruling is going to be. But if the two parties come to an agreement without the judge, which is, as I said, without a party's ex parte, they could say this is going to be an unopposed request. So they're saying the government agrees with them that they're going to need more time to look over this new indictment, right? So that's why they said defendant Durk Banks' unopposed request for additional time to submit his reply in support of the application for reconsideration of the detention order. Defendant Durk Banks, through his attorneys, Drew Finland, Marissa Goldberg, Jonathan Braven, and Christy O'Connor, hereby files his unopposed request for a brief extension of time to submit his reply, blah, blah, blah. It says on April 23rd, he got granted a hearing. At the end of the day yesterday, one day before the defendant's reply was due, the government informed the defense counsel through email that they had gone back to the grand jury and re-indicted the case in a second superseding indictment against Banks. Now, chat, let me kind of break that down in layman's terms. The government knew they made a big fuck up. It looked bad. Now, I don't think the judge would have dismissed this case against Durk because of the fan video or the fan edited video that was used to get the indictment. That's not why. I don't think it would have been dismissed either way. But to cross their T's, dot their I's. Remember, this is federal court, not state court. This is supposed to be the big leagues. So since they realized they fucked up, they ran back to the grand jury. They had about 2 weeks to do this. They ran back to the grand jury and presented the case again in the sneak, under the quiet. And the grand jury came back and said, we're still indicting him again. So they're using this as the second superseding indictment. The way it works, and clearly by the definition of the word superseding, the indictment that is the last superseding indictment is the only indictment that matters, okay? So the previous ones do not matter. It says the government provided a copy of the new indictment to the undersigned counsel on today's date. In the second superseding indictment, the government has chosen to. So they're saying the government threw in the towel, saying the lyrics, whatever. It says to remove the allegation regarding Mr. Banks' lyrics previously attached in, previously included in the first superseding indictment. They removed an allegation regarding payment of bounties. So that's actually important. We didn't know that. So they're saying they removed an allegation that Durk was going to pay these people, which I'm wondering why they did that. That's the basis of murder for hire. If you charge me with murder for hire, at some point you gotta prove that I plan to pay these people, I promised to pay these people, or I did pay these people. So we're gonna have to figure out about that. And that was previously included in the first superseding indictment, and an additional charge of stalking. So they have given Durk another charge called stalking, resulting in death. Okay, I'm wondering why give him this charge? Like, the murder charge should be the top charge. Like, why give him this like charge that kind of rolls up and kind of deals with murder, but it's not murder, whatever. Anyway, as the court is aware, both from the initial detention hearing and current briefing on Mr. Banks' application for a reconsideration of the detention order, the government's allegation regarding Mr. Banks' lyrics have been a hotly contested issue before this court. It appears that the government has conceded this issue, but in the re-indictment of this case raises new factual and legal issues. Based on the above, Mr. Banks respectfully requests that the court gives him a brief extension to file his reply so he and his counsel could review the new indictment and respond as necessary and appropriate. Mr. Banks requests that he be permitted to file his reply on or before Tuesday, May 6th. And then they sign. Marissa Goldberg does it, she works out of Drew Finland's office. By the way, Christy O'Connor is on it. That's been Durk's longtime lawyer. And also Jonathan Braven, who represented him for his gun cases in Chirac back in the day when he was there. Okay? So that's pretty much the update. The government realized they fucked up. They came with a new superseding indictment. They added one little petty charge saying stalking resulted in death, which here's the thing. All these charges are kind of linked. If Durk beats the murder for hire charge, he beats the stalking charge. You get what I'm saying? So they just kind of threw in a useless charge, but whatever. So Durk's team requested a week extension. The government says we got no problem with you doing a week extension because they knew they fucked up when they added the fan video and they came back last minute with a superseding indictment. So it looks like it's going to take another week for us to know what Durk's team is going to submit. And then there still is a oral argument about the memorandums or briefs submitted by both teams and the motion, and that's going to be argued in June. So, and I think also bail will be talked about in June as well. So that's the update. I mean, hopefully I can get too much like legalese in there. So, again, layman's terms, government just try to, save their ass. New indictment, which kind of nullifies Durk saying dismiss this case because they got an indictment through fake, false shit. They're now coming back to say, we got a new indictment through real shit, right? So, yeah. That's the update on that. The next thing